g'day, that subscribe button below. Facebook, follow me. YouTube, subscribe, and Instagram, follow me. So we're on all channels today. So if you would like to say hi, please do so. It's good to see you. I am so not organized. I ended up with an extra shift at work. So you are going to get to see everything right from scratch. Now we're looking at designer series paper. Our designer series paper is currently, there is a selected amount of designer series paper, cardstock, and our double-sided paper on special, 15% off for the month of August. There's also today and I believe tomorrow, there is a special on. Let me just double check that's today and tomorrow, with double rewards. Yep, finishes tomorrow in Australia. So goes up until the 21st. You can get, if you ask me, is better than free shipping, because it doesn't matter what your purchase is, you only get 10% extra. That's 20% saving. Always a win. Okay, so what we're playing with today is designer series paper, and I just thought I've got so many pretty papers and there is so many new pretty papers coming that I thought we'd just have a little bit of a play so I could show you what some of the things that you can do, and you can make your paper go further, and you can also do anything with it. You can use any type of paper for it. Okay, so let's get it started. So I've got my trimmer down here in front of me. I am so not prepared. The paper that I've brought over with me today is called Brush Beauty. Now this is a paper that I particularly really like because of the colours in it. We've got our Darling Duckling, we've got our Petal Pink. Those are my two not favourite colours in it, but look at the Mossy Meadow that's in there. So this paper has been around for a little while. It does lend itself to, I think, sympathy cards, thinking of you cards, all of those sorts of things. It's really pretty paper. Look at, it's just, there's a floral side and then there is a plain, for want of a better way of putting it. And you can actually see all the artwork. You can see the brush strokes that have gone into it. And you know that the paper is just, it's just beautiful. Okay, you don't have to make girly cards with it. You can make cards for the gentleman with it, but you will be using the reverse sides. This piece here, not a problem for our guys, the same as this one here. So this is Calypso Coral in there, and it's just striking, isn't it? The colours are listed in our, when you look at the back here. So you've got Calypso Coral, Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, one of my favourites, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, definitely a favourite, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Secret Sea, and Very Vanilla. Now I'm going to team this up with white today. The other thing that is on special is some of our double-sided papers. So I bought one of these. This is Mossy Meadow. So we are going to use some of it. And I haven't decided. I brought over with me some Mossy Meadow cardstock and some Petal Pink. So I haven't decided what cardstock I was going to use. I'm just going to show you how you can see the two different, see what I mean? You can see the two different sides, the dark side, which is the regular side, and the lighter side. So they're just, and it's got a white core, which is even better. So a couple of tricks that I'm going to show you with that. So I'll pull that piece out. All right. Don't have it, you know, I've got my whole bench space here, but yeah. Okay, so I will just, quite frequently what I'll do with paper is I will cut it in half. So I end up with a 6 by 12 piece, just so that it makes it easier for me to manhandle it. And now I've got to decide what pieces I want out of here. Okay, depending on what we're making, depends on what piece we use. So we've got the pretty florals. This is a part piece, as you can see. There was an edge all the way around with the florals. Oh, sorry, the florals being the center in the main feature. Okay, so that you can use that. If you're using it for the guys, though, you probably don't want to use the florals. they're just lovely. It's such pretty paper. It's so hard to decide what I'm going to do. I do rather like this piece here. Okay, so we might make a feature out of this piece here. We're going to do something for the I think we'll make a thinking of you card. What stamp set did I bring over today? Today I have brought over with me Lovely Arrangements. Okay, nice set. It is, I can just have a quick check to see. There is a bundle. Can't spell to save my life. Definitely not going to find it when I spell it like that. But you can use the search function. Lovely Arrangements. You can, do you know what? You can buy it as a bundle, but it's cheaper at the moment on special because these guys are in the last chance list. So you can get some really, you can do a lot of double dipping at the minute. The dies are 54 and the stamp set's 31. So if you were to get these together, that's actually going to bring it in $1 less than what the bundle is. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So buy them separately. All right. These dies, these two dies are well worth having either way. Okay, so let me see what else have we got in here. Yeah, I think we're going to make it for the ladies. Now you can use other designer series paper and make something very similar for the guys out of what I'm about to show you. Okay, now this one here, the petal pink is quite pale. It's in here. I want to make sure that we're going to use that because I'm actually thinking that I will use petal pink as my main card. So I'm just going to do a little I'm going to do a little square, well, rectangle. And I'll feature those guys there. Let's go 10 by 7. All right. Okay, and this piece here is going to be 10 centimeters wide. And it's going to end up as 14.5 or 14.4, but we're actually going to cut it down a bit because I'm thinking we're going to put it on petal pink. All right. Now, those people that watch me and come to classes and know me, this is not one of my more favorite colors. Petal pink is a color that I use very little of. So I'm sort of challenging myself here to make a card using it. But, you know, it's a color that fits quite nicely in amongst all its families. It's from the Subtle family. All right, so cutting a piece of cardstock in half to make my A4 piece. All right, and I'll come back to that trimmer because we do need to. So did you miss me last week? I was a bit crook. All right, I didn't get to come and play. Actually, I think I slept through the time that I would normally have been on. We need some basic white. Okay, so that's for my inside. That one's for some other things I want to do. So that piece is too big, but this piece here fits quite nicely. This guy looks quite nice on here as well. I'm going to pop a frame around this one here. So essentially what I'm doing is letting my designer series paper do the talking. You can do this with any designer series paper. I know that I made that 7, so we're going to make this paper 7.4. I don't really want it to have a really big border. Okay. And what did we make it this direction? We made it 10. Actually, look, let's show you something. Oh no, I can't do it with that piece. So that's 10.4. All right, so you'll see that makes a very nice feature piece. If we were making this for the blokes, let's use a stripy piece, okay? And because of the way I want to cut it, all right, I actually want it to go up and down. So it's currently 10, make that 7. And you'll see, That will work as well. Okay, so we could make 2, and we will. All right, so we've got 2 pieces there. So I'll cut another piece of our petal pink so I can show you how this is going to look. And yes, I would actually send a petal pink card to a bloke. There's a few other things I'd change up with it just to make it not so feminine. All right, so we'll do those 2. Actually, we need, because we'll do the whole kit and caboodle. So 10, 2 cards, exactly the same, different feature piece. What do you reckon? Sound good? I don't know where all my regulars are. They're hiding out today. I know it's my friend Cheryl's birthday, so I would presume that she's not here watching today, because I'm hoping that she's spending the time with her grandbabies and doing all of that sort of stuff, because they should be spoiling her rotten. Okay, so we will need that trimmer again. I only bought 1 envelope over though. That's all right. So you can use any sentiment that you've got. This will work for birthdays as well. Anybody that likes this sort of thing. Okay, so we've got our nice big, very green background. So there's a couple of things I want to do. Is I'm going to split it up. Hello. How you going, lol? All right, so because we're making 2, I'm going to split it up, and I'm going to do, I want to sort of have the background a little bit, I don't know, distressed. Is that a nice way of putting it? So I might do my first piece. So they're all going to be 10 centimeters wide. So we're going to do the first piece is 2.5 centimeters. You might want to write this down, lol. All right, 2.5 centimeters. Then I'm going to leave a gap. Actually, let's make it, I'll put it over to the side here so that you can see as we go. And I probably should do the second one at the same time. So 2.5 centimeters, since I'm doing both of them. All right, 2.5 centimeters for that one. And then if I do another 2.5 centimeters, so 2 the same. Okay, 2.5 centimeters. I can't remember which one was the right size. And then I want to do, let's go with another 2.5 centimeters. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 3 little groups up there. And then this guy here is going to be down the bottom, and it's going to be smaller. So I've taken all my 0.5 centimeters off. So we're going to need to use a ruler and measure that piece. Now there is a ruler along the edge of your trimmer here. So I can see that is approximately 6.5 centimeters. So let's start with 6.5 centimeters. It's going to be too big. So let's start with 6. And let's see, across everything, I'm probably going to need to, I'm actually probably going to need to trim a bit more off it, I think. Oh, maybe not. I think that that's going to be perfect. What do you reckon? So this one here needs to be 6. Ooh. There's a 10. Yeah. So 6 centimeters. So we've got, for those that are watching back, we've got, oh, I forgot to do a 2.5 for that one. I wonder why I end up with such a big one. So we've got 3 lots of 2.5 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And we've got one that is 10 centimeters across. They're all 10 centimeters across, okay? We've got one that's 6 centimeters tall. Now, this paper, there's a couple of things you can do with it. You can make it so that there's a dark, then a light, then a dark. then a light. All right, you can make them all the one. Depends on what you want to do. Now, as a sneak peek, we've got some new things coming. One of the things that you get to do when you are a demonstrator is you get to see the new stuff first. These little guys are on their way. These are sanding blocks. You get 2. I can't remember for the life of me how much they are, but you get 2 in the packet. And they are, so they're brand new. They're spongy. They've got a little case around them, a little plastic thing around them. But they're made so that you can sand whatever you need to sand. Okay, if you can get the plastic off. And I just love that they're ergonomic on your hands, a bit like our blocks and all that sort of stuff. So nice sanding. So you've got 4 surfaces, depending on which way you want to sand. And this paper works beautifully with your sanding. $10, even better. Sweet. So this designer series, this paper here is our double-sided paper. It's got a white core. I'm going to just crunch it up. All right, so, and these ones, and I'm just going to crunch them, and we're going to do a little bit of distressing with them, and we're going to make it look all fabulous, even though we've distressed them, all right, because you can. Okay, now it just looks like crunched up paper that we've smoothed out now, but when you get out your sanding block and you go over it a little bit, it changes that, just that little bit extra. Okay, not scrunched up enough, give it a little bit more. Okay, and it just provides a little bit of texture. And look at that. Okay, these ones here, same deal. Now, you can also send it through the cut and emboss machine with a very pretty embossing folder. And I'll grab, that's what we'll do on that one. Okay, so we'll just scrunch all these up first. And if you're not happy with how much it gets scrunched, scrunch it a bit more. So, yeah, it's just have a bit of fun with it. And the patterns on this particular packet of paper leave all the opportunity to do it. All right. The thing that I will just say is make sure you know which side you want to use. So if you're using all the dark, make sure all the darks come up. If you're using alternating, make sure that all the alternating come up. Depends on what you decided. Okay, so scrunch it up, take all your frustrations out on it, open it back up, and then give it a bit of sand. Now, if you do have a emery board, it does work, but I just like the sanding blocks that just seem to be so nice in your hot little hands. Okay, so we're going to go with the light side on this one. Okay, just run it across the top so it's a little bit distressed. Light side is that one. And light side is that one. Again, just run it across the top so it's a little bit distressed. And that's going to give us that really nice distressed look. I'll just grab something else brand new. Oh, I can't find my piece of paper. My I haven't got the board. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. This here, oh no, it's actually, oh no, it is a 3D one. A 3D embossing folder. This is brand new as well. Again, pre-order for those that are on, that have got learning demonstrators. Easy to join. Doesn't look like much there, but where's that piece of paper gone? Look at that. Look at that texture. Now, this is a 3D one. You normally would need the grey folder for this, which seems to have developed some legs. So I'm just going to see, and I haven't done this before, so we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens if I don't send it through with all of the, if I send it through without the grey one, if it still works. Does anyone want to take dibs on whether it's going to or not? Now, it is a plaid. It's quite a fine plaid, so you either want to stick it on the whole thing on straight, or you want to stick the whole thing on crooked, one or the other. All right. Let me see. Will you work if I send you through with a clear plate? Oh, it doesn't feel promising. Okay. I don't think that made any difference whatsoever, and I'm right. So I really need that grey plate. All right. Let's see. Nope. Right. If you've lost your grey plate, there are some things that you can do. Okay, the grey plate is a little bit thicker than this plate. It's not as thick as these two together. It's not an or it's thinner than these two together, and it's definitely thinner than these two together. If you don't have your grey plate, there is nothing stopping you from putting through things what we call shims, which could be bits of cardboard, bits of stuff to thicken up that top plate by 1 millimetre or so. So I've got a couple of bits of cardboard. Let's see, that feels a lot better. Let's see what happens here. I probably needed one more piece of cardboard is my guess, based on the way that that just felt. Nope. All right, so we just may do. So if you can't find your grey plate that comes with your cut and emboss machine, or if you don't want it to be as dynamic, right? So these ones now are not as dynamic as what they would have been had I sent them through with the proper plate, okay? Yeah, they still look great. Yes, they're there, but the cardstock hasn't fractured at all. As crooked as a dog's hind leg, but that's okay. What we're going to do, speaking of crooked legs, here he comes, is we're going to rough these up a bit, just around the edges a little bit. All right. Make sure you do it all on the same side. Use the middle bit. Oh, look, here it is, one grey plate. Tony knew where it was, but that's okay. Actually, that's what I can show you. I'll show you what it goes through like with the grey plate, and you'll see why this was probably better for what we wanted anyway. Okay, how cool does that look? Right, so if I send this through, where's that spare piece? Here it is, with the grey plate and the 3D embossing folder. You watch what this does. All right. Let's see what the difference is. All I did before was use 2 shims. So essentially it was 3 pieces of cardstock that I used instead. And this time I might put it on deliberate angle, okay? Goes through quite firm. You can feel it going through. The last one I only could just feel it going through, but this is quite firm. Pops out the other side quite nicely. And look, what you can see is the paper's actually got a bit of a fracture to it. So it's already got some of that white core coming through. All right. So it's up to you whether or not you do it a little bit lighter. That's the reverse side. So you didn't need to, I don't really need to run that piece with the sandpaper. But if you don't want the paper to fracture and you want it a little bit lighter, just send it through with some shims. Okay, so because of what we've done, oh, do it. I didn't bring any ink over. That's going to make it a bit damn hard, isn't it? Yes, I did. Here it is. Oh, stop looking. All right. Because of what we've done, we're doing with our page, with our card, and we're making it a little bit grungy, for want of a better way of putting it. You can actually make it so that the cardstock is to go with it. All right. I brought over some Mossy Meadow. I bought Mossy Meadow Crisp Cantaloupe and Petal Pink. I knew that I was going to use Mossy Meadow for my sentiment, but I'm also going to use it a little bit just to give a little bit of the edges a little bit of a grunge up. Okay, not a lot. Oops, sorry, not a lot, just a little bit, and that is just to make it so that they're not so, I don't know, perfect is probably a nice way of putting it. Okay, and we're going to do the same. We need to follow through with these. Okay, this is our piece for our front border. All right, just so that it's not so, I guess what the word I want to say is pink. All right, okay. So cardstocks are on special. Some of the designer series papers are on special. This particular designer series paper is on special, not all of them. You can't, unless you're a demonstrator, you can't get that embossing frame folder yet. And it is called, in case you're wondering, because I know that someone's going to ask when it comes out, it's called, I can't say that, Softly Woven. I was trying to say the French version. Yeah, no, I can't say the French version. Someone else will be able to, but it's called Softly Woven, and I really like it. Do you know what it'd look really nice on? Believe it or not, it would look so fabulous on top of a cookie, on a sugar cookie, just as a pattern. Okay. Right, that's thinking outside the square, isn't it? Okay. Now, because we're doing inside, we need to do a bit on the inside as well. And the beauty about doing it like this is by doing this, we can actually take away the need for the vanilla. All right. Now, I didn't use vanilla because I like my envelopes to match, and we haven't got vanilla envelopes anymore, so I have a tendency to use more white. One white envelope. I didn't bring over two. That's okay. And I'm just going to do a little bit of green on the edge here, and then I'll also put it on the back here, just because I can, just so that it sort of makes it so that it all comes together quite nicely, and this doesn't take away from our card at all. Now, this stamp set has got a lovely set of leaves. It's got some dies that, it's got some really pretty flowers. So you can put a flower on it if you choose to. We're going to stick with fairly basic. Oh. And as you can see, I've drawn around my dies this time. We're going to work out which sentiment we want. So we're doing a sympathy card. Okay. So where is it? Always Here for You just doesn't fit in that. Okay. Sending Smiles does. Okay. And the Just a Note fits in this one here. So it just depends on what you want to do. The Always Here for You would be one that I would potentially stamp straight onto my cardstock, or stamp stamp it and then cut it out. All right, so to fussy cut around it. It just depends on what sort of thing you want to do. All right, so I'm going to do Sending Smiles. Yeah, Sending Smiles. And I'm going to play with some leaves. Now, I do like these leaves, but I have a tendency to like the die cut ones a bit better. Okay. So, although I didn't bring anything to die cut it out of. So I think we'll be doing some die cutting. Just put them to the side. Okay, some sending smiles. And some leaves. Okay, whoops. That didn't work, did it? Alrighty. Here comes the riffraff. I didn't lock the door though. Okay, so we need to have some mossy meadow leaves. Nobody says they have to be mossy meadow, but you know, I don't think petal pink leaves will work for me. All right, so I think we'll cut out 2 of those. And I think what I'll do is I'll put some on my inside as well, just while I'm here. Okay, just because I can. Oh, that was a bit dodgy. All right, there you go. And look at my messy edge here. I think my mossy meadow needs to be re-inked a wee bit. And let's do the same. Whoa, nearly stuck my envelope in that. Let's just clean off some of this excess greenery. Drats. Hold my tongue right. Look at that. Okay, cool. All right, and we're going to do Sending Smiles is going to be in Mossy Meadow as well. And I'm just going to do it up here. Beautiful. And we'll send them through the cutting. Oh, I needed 2 of them. Because we're doing 2 cards, aren't we? Okay. All right. So cut and emboss machine's got to come back to the table. Now, if I could use some more of the double-sided to cut out leaves if I wanted to in this one, or if I didn't have any, I could actually make some, if I didn't have any paper, I could cut them out of another piece of designer series paper. Nobody said I had to cut them out of like stamped inks. So I'll just build our sandwich back up. I think my poor cut and emboss machine has had a very, very rough life. All right, now I've got some washi tape on here. Whoa, nearly cut it out on the piece of white. I didn't want to do that. Where are my cheering squad and telling me that stop what you're doing it wrong. Okay. All right, let's send these guys through. See if I can make them all dodgy. Alrighty, so that's the first one. We've got 2 to cut out. There's 2 leaves, 2 sending smiles, and we'll just see how we go here. You've got to hold your tongue right. Okay. Hopefully that didn't just wiggle like I think it may have done. We're about to see. Okay. Put that back on the floor. Nope, she didn't. Wonderful. Okay. Let's start putting this together. Now, one of the other things that's new, look at these guys. These are neutral jute combo. We've got basic beige crumb cake, early espresso, mossy meadow, pecan pie, and watch out, they're a choking hazard. But there is 5 spools, and it doesn't tell. Oh, there's 5 yards of each one, so which is about 4.6 meters in English. And look at all those fabulous colors. How amazing are they? All right, so they're coming. They're new. They actually belong to a Christmas set that's coming. All right, now if you would like a catalogue, one of the new catalogues, please let me know. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'm more than happy to get a catalogue off to you. All right, okay, let's put this together. It's been a while since I've been here and used this glue, and it's going to be painful. All right, let's get a new glue. I should have guessed, shouldn't I? What happens when you go away for a little while? Yeah, it doesn't want to play. Okay. Squeeze. No, come on, out you come. All right, I'm grabbing a new one because that one doesn't want to play. Good morning. We've got double reward points at the moment. I think I might need to stock up on some more adhesives. So today and still tomorrow, there's double reward points. Great time to stock up on things like our supplies, cardstock, designer series paper, all of our basics, our envelopes, those sorts of things, because not only do you get some of those things discounted, but you also get them with double rewards. Okay. Press that guy down. Now it is going to be curling and doing all of that sort of stuff, but that's all part of the look, okay? So keep that in mind as you're pressing it down. All right. But keep those gaps similar. So I want this gap the same, so I'm going to put on the top one next, okay? Oh, how nice is it when you've got new glue and it just pours out? That is lovely. Look at that. Okay. And then these two can sort of sit in the middle so that they sit nice and relatively even. Okay? That's the plan, Stan. So I'm just sort of sitting that one there while I put this one's glue on. I do love how this paper does this. And there. So you can see our gaps are relatively even. You can curl those sides in a bit if you want. Okay, oh, there's a bit of glue sticking out there. All right, see, it looks pretty smick. This guy is going to go on way easier because it is relatively flat. But we still need the same sort of thing. Is the gaps need to be very, very similar to what they are. And you'll notice that it sort of flattens. Because we sent it through with the embossing folder, it sort of flattened it out a bit. So it stretched it out a little bit in all the directions. So even though all these measurements are the same, that one looks like there's more gappy bits around in between it. Okay, and that one. And then these two are just going to sit quite nicely in amongst it. All right. That one there is a trick of the eye, I think. Okay. Now we have got, where's our main piece? So this is where you can feature one of the pieces of designer series paper. So if this one here is our feature here, okay, it's pretty non-committal, quite nice, a bit like grandfather's pajamas. Whereas then you've got your flowers, which are a little bit different. Nobody said it has to go that way. You can chop them and change them, whatever floats your particular boat. Okay? All right. So we'll just glue these guys down. Okay. And essentially we're letting the designer series paper, in this particular case, be the highlight, especially when it comes to the flowers here. A little bit of glue. So yeah, as I was saying, whilst there is extra rewards, it's always a good time to stock up on your supplies. Okay. So, and then we've got sending smiles and just a little leaf. Okay. So any of these colors will work. In this particular one here, I'm thinking that I might use, this is the pecan pie one. Finding the end. There it is. See how curly it is? All right. So I'm going to work with this guy first. This piece here is going to be raised up. It's up to you how you do your piece of jute. You can twirl it around, which is what I'm going to do on this one. So I've worked out approximately how much I want. And somewhere here, I have got some tear tape. Now, the tear tape is going to have to sit underneath my, I'll hold my tongue in the right spot, underneath my piece of sentiment. Okay? Because I don't want my, I want my sentiment to be under here. All right, so let's go. I actually want to just twist it around and I want it to behave, but it doesn't want to play nice. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do, just using a little piece of tear tape, because a glue dot's not going to hold this stuff. All right, I'm just going to bring it over to this edge here. And I'm just going to hold it over there. And then I'm going to send it around there. Okay. Now, I'm not going to undo that. Okay. I'm going to leave that stuck on it because that's how I want it to sit. This guy is going to sit up on dimensionals as well as this one here. So that is going to sit like so over the top of that. So I'm going to need to put a dimensional in the middle, and I might put half a dimensional on the end. So a dimensional here in the middle, which is going to butt up against that. And actually I can spread that apart and put it under the end. All right, so just work out where you want to stick them and then force the jute into submission. Okay. The aim of the game though is to not, you don't want your dimensional on top of your jute. You want it to straddle it. Okay. All right. Actually, I might just stick that flat on there. No, it'll look better with dimensionals. Trust me. This is when these bits down the outside edge come in handy. Because if you watch what I'm going to do here, is that whole piece can just go down this edge like so. All right, so don't throw those pieces away. Yes, lol, I am talking to you. All right, and then that way they can then become part of something good. Okay, let's put this bit on the inside. So we've made a feature of our designer series paper and our double-sided paper here. Okay, and yes, I do think it needs that leaf, and I will be putting it in. I'm going to put a little bit of glue along the bottom here, and I'm going to put a dimensional under this leaf. Okay, and you've seen me do that before, and what that does is it sticks it down flat underneath, and it's going to stick down flat underneath this Sending Smiles, but it's going to straddle over the top of that jute so that it just sits up a little bit. Now, if you've got some, what have I got in the way of little bling? If this was going to a gentleman, there's no reason why you can't put some bling on here. What have we got here? Shimmer dots. Actually, something subtle would be, something that doesn't have, something matte would look really nice on here, but do you know what? They're all over on the other, over in the other spot. So he's getting, this guy's getting the shimmers. And I'm thinking that these white ones, the creamy colour, my take your pick tools on the other table as well. Okay. How lovely does that look? And then if you teamed that up with your envelope, looking nice. Right, this guy here, isn't she beautiful? This one's going to be my favourite. Again, same deal, Sending Smiles. This time though, I'm going to use a little bit of Mossy Meadow. Find the end. And I'm not going to use as much this time because I'm going to have a play. Jute's one of those things, it's lots and lots of different pieces, threads to make one thread. So in this case, it's 3. Okay, and it never comes apart as nicely as some of the other ones come apart, but it does, if you convince it to, it will still come apart. All right, it's going to make a liar of me now, but you just need to wiggle it, for want of a better way of putting it. All right. So I'm just holding the one and twisting it in the other direction so I can go like that. And now this one is made of 2. And then each of those fibres, now they're all crinkly, is made up of 100 of other little fibres. So you can actually make it quite fluffy, like so. See what I mean? There's, oh, it's really hard to see. Where's the envelope? Sorry, it's a bit fuzzy. See what I mean? Heaps and heaps of different fibres. So you could have a bit of fun with it. But I'm just going to make it a messy bow. And it is a real messy bow because, yes, it didn't go together. Okay, make it a messy bow cord without trashing it. All right, little loop, second little loop, over and under and through the hole, pull it out. Where's the other end? Where'd it go? All right. And make it all grungy and messy. And yeah, look at that. How fabulous. Trim off these bits. All right. Doesn't that look amazing? If I do say so myself. Okay, so again, we're going to put this one up on dimensionals because it needs to raise off those pieces quite. Actually, it probably will raise by itself. No, we are going to use dimensionals. And I'm going to use these two sides now. Because we've got texture under there, we are going to need to add a little bit extra when it comes to dimensionals, just to make it so that they stick. So we'll just add some extras in here. And one in the middle. All right. I think next week we might have to do start getting work on our Christmas cards. What do you reckon? Okay. Make sure this piece is directional. Make sure my leaves are going in the up direction. Okay. And I'm sticking it. So the way that I'm sticking it is it's a little bit higher at the top than it is at the bottom. Okay, this I am just going to stick on here with some dimensionals, and this I am going to stick on with a glue dot, which are on the other table, of course, as always. So I will put 3 dimensionals under here. And I am playing with my lines, and I'm not lining it up with anything else in particular. So that is going to go on there with a glue dot. If you wanted to, I could have put a piece of twine underneath it and stuck it around. No, you're going to go in the same spot over there, I think. Or do I want it over here? Oh, I don't know. Decisions. Don't even know if I need these leaves. Yep, that's it. I'm just going to grab a glue dot. So, again, I'm going to pop a little bit of glue down on my end here. Shove that guy in underneath there. And I will put a dimensional up the top underneath that leaf up the top there. Oopsie, didn't stick that very well. I could see it. Okay, and this one's going to get a glue dot. Jute's really fun. You can have lots of fun with jute by pulling it apart, teasing it up, and then using it when it's all. You can make really pretty like daisies out of it. You can do multiple layered bows. And I love that we've got quite a bit of variety. There's there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 25 meters of twine in this packet. So that is really good value, if you ask me. Because you all know I love a bit of fibre on everything. So I am going to tuck it underneath that Sending Smiles bit. And I'll just use my scissors because my Take a Pic tool's on the table, just to tuck that on underneath there. Now, can't let the guy, the one for the blokes, get just the gems. We need to let the ladies' ones have some gems as well. And we will use the same ones. So I was watching my auntie do this the other day. She just grabs it with her scissors. I'm not as good at it as her. But how good does that look? Even with that, like, you sort of don't expect those gems to. There you go. Alrighty. So you got to see a few new things today. Right. We've got to see the new Naturals Duke combo that's coming. If you would like a catalogue, please let me know. Just pop a message in the chat and I'll get one out to you, or flick me a message with your address and I'll just make sure that you get one in your hot little hand. We got to see the new upcoming softly woven embossing folder. That's going to be a favourite of mine. But we also got to see what we can do with some current favourites. We've got one packet of designer series paper and two very similar yet very different cards. So depending on how you let your paper do the talking will depend on what your outcome is. All right, so I believe I've got an inside for this one. So yeah, look for, use that. I guess you could say it's a sketch, but use that mud map. We've got our pieces are cut 10 centimeters across, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 tall, and 6 centimeters tall. So, and then distress them, put them on their plane. You could actually just use a piece of designer series paper and do the same thing. It will work just as beautifully like that. This paper here would have been fabulous at the background of here. So use up that paper. Don't hoard it. There's always more to be had. But the best thing about paper is that you can make some fabulous, pretty cards. Alrighty, thank you all for joining me tonight, this evening, this afternoon, all that sort of stuff. If you would like to join my Uni-Q Crafters, feel free to click the little button that says join now and you can hang out with me and my friends. If you would like to join us at class, let me know. My next class is Saturday week. I do have a full class for that one. So the one following that is with the last Saturday in the month of September. Seats fill up fast, so get in quick, lickety stick. All right. Yeah. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Same place, same time, around the 4-ish mark. I will